OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is in India again. Remember, Sam Altman had previously mocked India's ability to develop low-cost, large-scale AI models like the ChatGPT and called India's will to try to be absolutely hopeless. He has now made a U-turn. On his Now India visit, he not only expressed support but also said India could take the leadership role in artificial intelligence. So Altman now says his 2023 hopeless remarks were taken out of context and added that while AI models are still costly to develop, the increasing feasibility of training them means India can and should lead in the AI space. On his India visit, Altman was speaking at an event with IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. Altman emphasized India's growing role in artificial intelligence and noted that India is now OpenAI's second largest market. Later, Altman also met India's vibrant startup community with leaders like Paytm's Vijay, Sharma and Snapdeal's Kunal Bahl in attendance. Meanwhile, Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said that India's AI mission across healthcare, education and other social sectors is on the verge of takeoff. Let's listen in to what Ashwini Vaishnav said.
Our country sent a mission to the moon at a fraction of the cost that many other countries did, right? Why can't we do a model which will be a fraction of the cost that many other countries do? So yes, innovation will bring that cost down.
Within the applications in healthcare, in education, in agriculture, in weather forecasting, in disaster management, in transportation, multiple different things we are working. And I request the entire startup community to come up with very unique solutions, and we'll be open. We are very soon starting a kind of open competition for it, open empanelment competition kind of thing. So that will be huge. So many problems can be solved, and why don't we use this latest technology that we have for solving these problems, right? You guys are good with that? We'd love to do.
So a thumping response there to Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav and the conversation he had with Sam Altman. For India, obviously, the AI case is very strong. India needs and India will build and deliver its own AI tools for social good. That's part of the national AI mission as well. But for Sam Altman, is this a change of heart? A jolt of reality that alternate models like ChatGPT, especially the kind that China's DeepSeek has delivered, can be built? Or, simply speaking, is it a hedge against China's DeepSeek? Joining me to understand this and more is Dr. Srinath Sridharan, policy researcher and corporate advisor. Good morning, Srinath. Thanks for being here on News9. What is this change of stance that Sam Altman is now displaying here in India?
I think it's pure market access, right? And the commercials. I mean, OpenAI is wanting to move towards for-profit model, and reality is India is the second largest revenue base for them. But for me, more than Sam Altman doing it, he's doing what probably a true, mission-hungry capitalist does. He wants access, and he's changing his tune. But I think the larger picture, I'm kind of intrigued, is the same minister who's also to protect your sector, that's the media sector. The media industry in India has taken OpenAI to court for IPR violation, and we have gone all out gaga in welcoming him. And I think that's very, very intriguing. If we are fearing IPR violations in one sector, it's the same model that could eat up all the data access across various sectors, and we want to collaborate with them. But very strategically, there are two aspects that's going to happen next week, right? Monday and Tuesday is the Paris AI Summit, the Global AI Summit, where Prime Minister Modi is the co-chair.
Right.
And this is the summit that's going to happen after it happened in London about 14, 15 months ago.
Right.
India, I mean, to be really honest, we haven't done or had any major breakthrough in AI. And so we're going to probably wanting to say some of this. Two, if you remember, the President Biden's last parting gift to the world was creating AI diffusion regime, a framework that restricts access to India and China from accessing chipsets and accessing data models from 2027. So ahead of, I think, the Prime Minister Modi's summit with President Trump, is this a white flag of sorts of saying that, hey, we are willing to align with the US OpenAI model rather than DeepSeek model? So I'm reading more about politics here, geopolitics, rather than just OpenAI wanting Indian access. It is
Okay.
also India playing up, I think, its cards ahead of the summit.
All right, India playing its cards ahead of the summit. Okay, interesting view there, Srinath. But talking about, some of the items that you touched upon. Number one, obviously, India is the second largest user of ChatGPT, perhaps, and that is what makes Sam Altman bullish on India. But India hasn't really shown or displayed yet what it can do to build its own language models, large, small, cost notwithstanding. We've seen initial announcements come from companies like Wipro, like Infosys, that they are really, betting big on AI. But in terms of real tools, consumer-facing tools that can be built, India hasn't actually yet done it. And so, the question really is, we might be a great market for Sam Altman and OpenAI, but are we going to be able to contribute to the growth of AI in the foreseeable future by building our own models or not?
So I think it looks like we're kind of lagging much behind in the AI race, Kartik. The reality is, if AI were to be seen as, let's say, large pipelines, digital pipelines, and the machines that operate those, we don't own any of those. We seem to be plumbers and technicians tinkering with it. I mean, if, for example, our ITES services companies want to offer AI solutions to their global clients, it is more as a technician rather than as the owner. I think the advantage, what we saw in the Web 1, Web 2 era, which is from the 1990s when the internet became large and commercial, is the Western model. The big tech companies are from the West. They control the narrative. Even today, the social media. In the Web 3 narrative and the AI narrative, we have lost the race. I mean, we have been talking about AI for quite some time, but we are large consumers rather than creators. I think that's a challenge. Who owns the IP is actually going to win this global race. I mean, 21st century is about, at least the next second half of the 21st century is going to be about AI. And we don't seem to have a concrete plan. I mean, our AI mission, yes, it is frugal in terms of budgets, but the reality is Jugaad cannot win wars like this. While we can be frugal, Jugaad won't win. Two, our STEM ecosystem overall has been very fragmented. The private capex and R&D budgets are not there. And probably, I think India needs to, until we can find our own feet, collaborate with the US. And I think it is going to be an interesting summit because there are going to be lots of gives and takes that we'll have to do next week. I think AI is going to be one serious one because we will want access to chipsets.
Absolutely. Of course. So we want access to chips. And in fact, the conversation also spoke about India building its own GPUs. And, I really want to come back to this whole DeepSeek debate that was out there. You're saying India should not do jugaad and India needs to be frugal. DeepSeek has been frugal and as frugal as it gets. So, is the innovation story in the foreseeable future over, Srinath, and have we lost the bus on being frugal? And more importantly, we also have jobs to think about. If our IT sector jobs are going to be threatened by AI, then we are not creating enough jobs in AI as well. So, where does this leave the Indian economy and Indian job seekers, especially those who work in the IT sector? Also, given the fact that H-1B visas in the US are still a contentious issue.
So I think in the short term, I think we will be able to solve for it with political mileage, give and take something here and there. But the reality is, for the future, when I say the future, I'm talking about 7 to 10 years ends. What do we do? Do we remain a nation of cyber coolies? That's a choice that we should have made long time ago. And I think even now it is late, but we'll have to catch up. We cannot remain a nation of cyber coolies because if technology can do what humans are doing, right from coding to doing a lot more other things, we are completely outdated. And I think the challenge for India is that we are the largest youth population in the world. And there is no answer to how do we keep them productively engaged. We don't have the money. We are still low middle income nation globally. We have seen our economy slow down for the last couple of quarters. So I think this summit also comes at the time when, for the first time, when the previous time when President Trump and Prime Minister Modi met, India was a shining economy with no domestic challenges, at least from the economic point of view. This is a time when we are going to negotiate from a position of little weakening economy and what do we do with it. And I think the US knows it very well to drive a tough bargain.